If you were around during the 2000s, then you probably remember these DVD storage cases. Whether they were yours, your parents, or your barber's, there's an 80% chance you're familiar with them and just about how many movies, games, or music CDs you see rotating in and out of them. And if you do remember them, then there's an even higher percentage chance that you remember the CDs that came out of them not looking like this or this, but this.
I call it bold and bright.
A plain shiny disc with a title written crudely on it with Sharpie or whatever else marker was around at the time. Before Netflix, Spotify, Steam, Xbox Live, etc., we had what I call the golden age of piracy. You may argue, but we can pirate so many things much more easily now. Isn't this the golden age? This is the platinum age, because the burnt CD disc boom was a beast of an era that changed the way people looked at bootleg media, and it was the first time it became widely available. We had to work for piracy, and by we, I mean my dad, because I was just a kid that didn't think twice about the games I was throwing into my Dreamcast. But aside from the discs, this era was when media piracy began to resemble the form it has now. First, we have to paint a picture of the internet and media landscape back then, going back to the late 90s. In 1995, the internet was still very young and very slow. Computers still used dial-up, which was using a telephone line and modem to connect after all. The net just recently became a public tool. Despite this, like in the case of much new tech, it wasn't widely accepted or used despite being so groundbreaking. But that was far from the only tech innovation that was ready to contribute to the continued rise of the pirate's life. In the 80s, music would move from the cassette format to CDs, and movies would join in this movement in the 90s with the development of video CDs.
This is the album of the future, and it's fast becoming a hit. It's called a CD. That's short for compact disc. The music on one of these is recorded by computer. When you play it back through a sound system, it's better than any recording.
By the late 90s, all of our media would begin to fully ditch the tapes and go disc mode. This meant not only going out and buying replacements for all of your favorite albums and movies, but also that the media pirates would need to begin finding a way to adapt to a rapidly changing landscape. Of course, piracy didn't begin with the internet or the CD format. In the tape era, there were many ways to capture media you didn't own for personal consumption, to sell, or simply share. Pirates would tape record films in theaters or at homes, duplicate rented VHS tapes, record vinyls to blank cassette tapes, or record cassette tapes to another blank tape. While these methods proved successful enough, quite frankly, the quality tended to be straight garbage. But that was about to change with the advent of a new medium to house our media. Medium to house our media, medium to house our media, medium to house our media. Okay, it's actually not that hard.
Here at Walmart, I'm bringing it to you like this. Everything you're looking for is here in the home entertainment department. Looks like a CD, smells like a CD, but guess what? It's a DVD. The latest, the newest, the coolest.
Every kind of movie for every kind of person.
Gamers, I hear you out there.
As I said earlier, the CD format was adopted by the media scene in the 90s and would eventually obliterate the tapes in the 2000s, where DVDs and DVD players would begin to outsell their VHS counterparts. So imagine being that guy still trying to sell bootleg movies on tapes. Yeah, that's not happening. Let it go, brother, because you're going CD shopping and you better get ready to spend some money, because media piracy wasn't cheap in the beginning of the CD era. In the late 80s, CDR, or compact disc recording technology, would see the light of day. Commonly known for its usage in CD burning, CDR allowed for anyone to write their own data to blank CDs. This new component was the piece of the puzzle that every bootlegger would have to adopt if they wanted to keep their piracy schemes afloat going into the next decade. But it wouldn't be widely available to consumers until the mid-90s, and even then you wouldn't be getting your hands on an actual CD burner unless you could pay the price of admission. In 1995, CD burners would finally see a wide release but were priced at $1,000, with it being news that one would release at $995. I've seen forum posts from people claiming that they've gotten their hands on one at $500 in the year 2000, signifying that this was simply an early adopter's fee. But still, $500? Do you know how much these prices are when adjusted for today? $1,000 in 1995 is around $2,100. and 500 in 2000 is around 1,000 today. Even if my numbers are off, first of all, I blame this site. But still, that's a lot regardless. Like I said, CD piracy was definitely pay to play, but for that pay we got a lot better quality on our bootlegs, as CD burning did not degrade the condition of stored media. So if you had a burner, you were able to pump out product and make some good money selling CDs on the side of the street, in the mall, at your kiosk, or at the barbershop.
I knew people who had stacks, and if you didn't have a CD burner, there were, I'm not even kidding, hair salons downtown, record shops downtown.
Oh, I got it from the barber shop. He had a 3 for 10 special. Oh, shit. Be quiet and watch the movie, bro.
Excuse me. Ow! What the fuck? You get your feet out the aisle then. Don't worry about what we got going on. Get your feet out the aisle then. Excuse me.
Listen, selling bootleg DVDs used to be serious business. These dudes would sneak around like they were selling drugs, and it wasn't just an American thing. This post by Donnell Walter showed that in London, dudes would be watching out for police while trying to discreetly get your attention to sell you Dragon Ball Evolution or the Shaggy Dog, and run when the police looked their way. But they only played it serious because in the late 90s and early 2000s, it was serious. We joke now, but those piracy commercials were dead serious for those that could actually get caught selling this stuff. Did you know that in 2012, a Mississippi man got 18 years in jail after being caught selling bootleg DVDs and CDs to an undercover cop? They searched his home and found 10,000 counterfeit discs and the computer equipment he used to do it. Things got serious. And I've said serious that many times because they were serious. And speaking of computers, the advent of the home desktop and CD combination, along with laptops with built-in disk drives, would eventually make CD burning a thing for the masses. We were entering a time where you needed a computer, and that means you just have a CD burner chilling at your home at all times. I remember when my dad and uncle found out about this, and suddenly I saw bootleg CDs all over the place, including, like I said, my Dreamcast. My Sonic Adventure 1 disc looked like this, but Adventure 2 was looking like this. I didn't get it, but I didn't care. This new evolution in tech, along with innovations like the new MP3 format and CDs becoming even more widely available and affordable, led to the slow death of CD piracy in the US, though it still thrived in other countries, but led to the beast of internet piracy that began with none other than Napster. For all you youngins and YNs, Napster is basically the 2000s era Spotify. Or it would be compared to that if we were talking about the new age version, formerly known as Rhapsody. No, the original Napster hit the scene in 1999 and was a peer-to-peer file sharing application based around users uploading, downloading, and sharing mostly digital audio. Of course, that meant Napster was straight up pirate territory. Shortly after Napster was shut down for copyright infringement issues, many other names would pop up and take its place. Few notable names you may be familiar with are Freenet, Kazaa, and LimeWire. Each of these sites had the same basis as Napster, but each also allowed for downloads of pirated films, TV shows, and games. This of course opened the door for hundreds of people to unknowingly download viruses and malware, but maybe that season of The Simpsons was worth it. However, the most influential face in the early internet piracy game easily came in the form of BitTorrent and torrents in general. In 2001, a University of Buffalo student named Bram Cohen would find himself tired of the long peer-to-peer download times. The solution? A client that would download files from multiple servers called seeders. This allowed for the piecing together of files from multiple different sources, even if the file wasn't completely finished downloading on the other's machines. It was easy, cheap, and could be done with just about any type of file. This new style led to the development and launch of the popular torrent hosting site, the Pirate Bay, in 2003, which even after many years of legal trouble and continued government attacks, is still known as the most relevant and popular torrent site out there. This all happened before YouTube was even a thing, with the first ever torrent being of the film The Matrix dropping in 2003. But speaking of YouTube, we can't leave that out of the piracy conversation. When the platform dropped in 2005, it was a lot different than now. In fact, it was just about lawless. Listen, I used to watch full television series, movies, and of course anime via YouTube. In fact, many of us, including you watching, probably discovered what anime was because we could watch shows other than the mainstream ones on YouTube. You 100% found things like Haruhi Suzumiya and Lucky Star and other series such as those because of YouTube piracy. Heck, that's how I found out that there was a sequel to Naruto already out in Japan when I was just finishing watching the tuning exams. Like, what do you mean Naruto is a teenager and he's wearing black now? Piracy was legit just a way of life back then and allowed for the media to be more readily available. You know how nowadays we're always Googling, where can I watch so and so, or back then when you were trying to watch a series but maybe the DVD was out of stock or something. Some of you probably weren't even around for that. Or of course, my Naruto example, where there was a piece of media out there I was interested in, but there was no way to watch it except through piracy. But then the internet and the world around it began to become more regulated and culture shifted. Those anti-piracy PSAs were a sign for real. When the late 2000s and 2010s hit, the world began to move towards media streaming, and thus, media needed to become more regulated in order for big companies to make money. Things like Google's purchase of YouTube led to it becoming an over-regulated, anti-copyright nightmare for creators, along with keeping the pirated content at a minimum. Consumer want of convenience over anything plays a hand in this as well. I don't have all these specifics, but I remember there being a Scott Stash video I was watching where he was talking about how he could emulate or something, but it was just easier and way more convenient to just buy the game on the online marketplace of one of his consoles and play it from there. That's where a lot of the consensus has gone as of late due to the instant gratification models companies have given us now. Just look at how the Netflix big heads talk about movie theaters. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this, but you know, we used to be different. I'm just saying we used to be a society. Anyways, piracy is in a place now that we'd never imagined back then. You can get just about anything you want from torrent sites and even elsewhere. There were times in high school we'd watch films in class from one of those bootleg movie sites, like 123 Movie and all that stuff. So you know that it's mainstream now. Like, does anyone remember the era of every old person and parent getting one of those Fire Sticks to watch pirated movies and shows on their TVs? From burnt CDs to BitTorrent and anime on YouTube, piracy went from crime to straight up culture, and for a lot of us, it was the only way to enjoy what we loved, and still is. I'm looking at the manga and anime industry right now. But if you got any memories like mine revolving around this, it'll be a joy to read them in the comments below. I always read all my comments, and yeah, these will be no different. And if you enjoy hearing about history like this, then hit subscribe to let the algorithm know too, so I can share with more people like you. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every one of you guys that subscribe, like, comment, watch, whatever. And I will see you next time. Thank you for, letting me do this for fun and having someone to listen.